Welcome back to part 2 of our video on what business owners get wrong hiring in the Philippines. And if you haven't already checked out part number 1, there'll be a link down below in the description. Now, I'm helping business owners all over the world get started with hiring remote teams, but also get their technology, people, and systems organized so they can grow more successful businesses. And we've already talked a little bit about what are the perils of hiring offshore and the absolute basics that a business owner needs to get right in their mindset, in how they see other people, and some of the basics of getting the economics right of working with a remote team. I want to talk a bit more about some of the practicals now in actually making sure that you and your team are going to work well together as you're growing and scaling a remote team, particularly if you're choosing to hire in the Philippines. Now, number one mistake that most business owners make is not actually documenting the systems in their business, not writing down how things actually work. And what can happen there is you have employees leave the business and nothing's been documented, and all of a sudden you need to train someone from scratch again. Now, we've got a number of videos on our channel specifically on how to write great business systems and how to create an online digital standard operating procedures manual so you can make sure everything in your business is documented and you can delegate more tasks to the team as well as rapidly onboard new team members into your business. Check out those videos if you'd like to learn more about systems. That's a particular area of passion for me. Second thing that business owners get wrong is expecting a unicorn. Typically, someone will hire their first virtual assistant and they will expect them to do a bit of everything. Customer service, updating the website, chasing bills and finances, reconciling and bookkeeping. And if you were to ask anyone in your home country to do all of those different tasks, it would be very obvious that they are different tasks based on different skill sets. But not only that, different styles of work completely. Do you really want the same person to be doing your bookkeeping and expecting them to have a high degree of accuracy and a procedure-based mindset if you also want them to create graphics for your social media, which is going to be a much more creative process, and you want that person to be expressive and perhaps be a little bit thinking outside of the box in that kind of work? No, those are two completely different roles. And so for many people, when they hire their first international team member, they are expecting someone to just do a bit of everything for them. I implore you to ensure that your roles are well defined, and that if you have to hire 2 or 3 different people for different roles as you expand your team, then it's going to go much better. By the way, just hiring one person is probably going to be a little bit of a challenge for you because you can have the risk of people ghosting, things not working out, and also you have the challenge of your first international hire is probably going to take a bit of time for you to get used to actually working with them and get used to someone working from a different culture who is going to have different traits and different ways of working. So hiring 2 or 3 people to build a team means that you're actually going to have your team members have some buddies to work with, and then you have the opportunity to work with different diverse personalities as you get used to building your business in an international way. Third mistake that business owners make all the time is not actually doing the extra work required on the HR side of the business. Now, many business owners will just go ahead and hire remote employees, assign them some tasks in maybe Asana or a task management program, and just expect things to get done, while forgetting all of the basics of HR management, like performance reviews, check-in meetings, daily huddles or stand-ups, weekly reviews of tasks, strategy meetings that happen every month or every quarter. These are all things that you need to do with an international team, not just with your local team. And making sure that all of these things are in place, like making sure that there's adequate pay raises and reviews, that there's performance management frameworks in place, that there's even a feedback system for team members to create and share feedback with you, means that you're going to have a much better symbiosis working with your team. Now, for many business owners that we see, and I mentioned this in part 1, is, they treat someone as an other or treat someone as someone completely different to their main business. And my advice to you is instead to treat your international team members as if they were working in your office, but you just kind of treat them as if they happen to be working from a different location. Now, we've all got used to that throughout the coronavirus pandemic, working from different locations and many of us working from home. Well, treat your international team in exactly the same way. They just happen to be working in a different location, but everything that you would apply to your Australian or your local team, if you're based in the US or another country, you want to then apply that right across the board so you're effective no matter where your team are working from. And it effectively makes, the culture or the nationality or the race of who you're working with irrelevant. Yes, you may be in different economies and you may be paying different rates for those that you're employing, but it is irrelevant where somebody is apart from the cultural traits in how you build a relationship with the individuals that you're working with. I think we've kind of slid into my next point here, number 4, which is differentiating teams. And what I've shared there is that it's most important for your team to feel like one team. And here's some basic tips for that. Where I've seen business owners get wrong is where they'll have one team meeting for the offshore team and then one team meeting for the local team. Or they'll do boneheaded things like take a local-based team out for lunch. The remote team just kind of like completely miss out on that. And what we've seen done really well is that whenever you have a team meeting, everybody comes together. And we use meeting room kits like Google Meet, which actually allow on a technology basis our team to connect and all feel like they're in one room at the same time. But also absolute basics here. If you're working from home and you don't want to set up a fancy boardroom with hardware, just make sure that you bring all of your team together remotely using something like Google Meet or Zoom or your video conferencing platform of choice. When you treat all your teams as one, they are going to act like they are one. And whether that's having a water cooler chat in your chat program of choice, whether that's doing team events that are virtual and remote and bring everyone together, and we've got videos on both of those, you want to make sure that your team feel like they're part of one team, and then they're going to act like one team. Finally, the last mistake that business owners make, and I think we're up to number 5 now, is not actually visiting your team and seeing them in the flesh. It was nearly 10 years ago when I first visited the Philippines and sat down with my team and shared a meal and had a beer together. And that was a very special moment for me because we'd been working for a couple of years remotely and online with our team. We had, I think, 5 or 6 employees remote by that point, and it was an opportunity for me to sit down, and all of a sudden the walls of difference came down between myself and my team. And I feel a little emotion arising even sharing that story, because for me, being able to dissolve what I thought of as a remote resource, and it's a little bit inhuman to just see somebody as a remote resource, all of those came crashing down and allowed me to really deeply connect with my team. So if you haven't yet got on a plane and actually met with your team in person, there is nothing quite like giving someone a hug, sitting down over a meal or a beer, and connecting with someone on a human level. I hope you've enjoyed these tips on building international teams. I'm passionate about remote companies, and we were running our business completely remotely for over 6 years before the coronavirus pandemic even hit. And I'm passionate about sharing what we've learned here on the channel. If you want to see more of this content, give me a thumbs up. If you like the content and want to stick around to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Check out our other videos where we help business owners go through the multiple stages of business growth and help you to build better teams and better businesses using technology-fueled strategy. We're really passionate about helping business owners all over the world, whether you're a sole trader or a large organization with hundreds or even thousands of employees. If you're using the Google ecosystem like Google Workspace or any of Google's other business tools, well, we want to help you, and we can help with CRM systems, marketing systems. We can help you documenting your business systems and getting your team on the same page with tasks or communication. All of those kind of things we love to geek out on, and we love to enable and empower businesses to work remotely and teams to be more productive at work. So if you're a business owner or a business leader, jump on the links below to take advantage of one of our free offers to get in touch with our team or get more education inside our Genius Academy classroom. If you've not yet already seen our growth roadmap, well, that is how we take businesses through the different stages of growth and implement our technology strategy, which will help you to have a more successful business. Make sure you check out the playlists on our channel for all the information on that, and I'll see you in the next video.